So you are here at the Solar Kickoff. Most of what that means is that we just like our acronyms. That stands for Student Organizations, Learning, and Resources. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff today. The student organization team is going to speak. We're also going to have Conference and Event Services, which is formerly known as Event Planning, talk, and also student government. We leave the money for the last because I know that's what a lot of you are holding out for. Just welcome. As our team is bringing people in, we're going to have them introduce themselves. Again, my name is Kate Curley. Emily and Candace, can you come up here and introduce yourselves? Great.
I'm Emily Schwinghammer. I'm the student assistant. A lot of the emails that you've been getting over the past few weeks have been for me. Probably some at the fest and stuff, so I'm here to answer your questions and help you out.
And I'm Candace Tulas. I'm actually the newest member of this group, and I'm new to campus, so I'm learning along with some of you guys probably the gist, but don't worry, I'm a fast learner. I'll know how to help you on everything as soon as possible. If not, I know how to direct you to the resources that you need. So. Awesome. I'm the graduate assistant. I don't know if I said that.
Yes, awesome. So really great resources here. When you set up meetings, student org specialists, we're going to go over a lot of different information today. And you're probably going to have some questions on some things. Set up a meeting with them and we can help answer those questions for you. And later, solar, this one's required, the next ones aren't, and we'll talk about the good things to come. Recruitment events, we also have some leadership events. Student orgs are available to do all-inclusive, you have to apply, but all-inclusive trips for alternative weekends in Detroit. There's also Emerging Leaders Series, Multicultural Leadership Experience, and the Student Gold Medallion Awards that include the Best Student Organization Program, and also the Best Student Org Advisor. So I do encourage you all to apply for those. Cool. Some important dates, I would encourage you to put these in your calendar now. One at the top, September 19th and 20th. Again, the part 2 of this program is to actually sign up for one of those. It's only 30 minutes long. And it's everything you need to know on that thing called Eagle Sync. Do people know what I mean when I say Eagle Sync? Raise your hand. Hopefully all of you. Okay, good. So Eagle Sync is our new management system. That's where all the updating is. That's where all of your events can go through. A lot of the forums are through. Everything is through there. And attendance will also be through Eagle Sync. So September 9th and 20th, you can choose a time that fits best for you. The sign up is on the student organization resource page. Do people know what I mean when I say the student org resource page? Yes, that also should be everyone. Awesome. Solar sessions, again, the future ones are not mandatory, but what's cool about this, as you saw on your little solar flyer, not only do you go and bring useful things back for your organization, but you also get money for each time you go, which is really easy money, right? There's also, up next, we're actually having a fundraising. So the next one in October, we'll be sending out invites to this week, but that'll be It's talking about fundraising, how to fundraise for your organization, and also how to enter into a United Way fundraising competition that will actually get money for your organization as well. Again, easy money, do it. Again, that's October 10th, 7 to 9 p.m. So resources, we're going to kind of go through all of these update process, which you all should know very well, but as a quick refresher, as it has moved through Eagle Sync and what some tips to do that and streamline that process for you all. Leadership recruitment opportunities, talked a lot about that already. Resource page, again, reacquainting yourself with that. Finances and funding, the beginning of that, I know Janita will talk a lot more about that, and then Eagle Sync. So, update process.
Okay. Every single year, in order to remain in good standing and remain an active organization, you need to complete this update process. Raise your hand if you're sort of familiar with this. Okay, good. That's a really good start. I know there's been some confusion, and this needs to be done every time, like every year at your anniversary, I guess, or whenever an org member changes. So on your OrgSync homepage, you'll see this bar at the top. Yeah. And this little gray wrench here, you can go down to organization settings and you'll see update and renew profile. And as long as you're an administrator on your page, you'll be able to access that, and then you just plug in all the correct information, submit, along with a signature form. That goes to us, and we submit all your e-numbers of your executive board to make sure you're in good academic and judicial standing. And assuming you are, you remain active and good. This is a signature form. This needs to have all the information on it and actual signatures. DocuSign is acceptable, but like just typing the names again, or like typing them in a scripty font or anything like that is not going to be acceptable. We need actual signatures because this is what authorizes us to check out your academic and judicials. When you're doing your update, you do need to attach a signature form every time, but only for organization members that have changed, along with your advisor. So you always need your advisor, but if no board members have changed, then you don't need any signatures. Or if like only your treasurer changed, then you only need the signature of the treasurer. That makes sense, right? And that's, yeah, basically the gist of that. Can I go back? Yeah. The signature form can be a physical copy that you turn into the Dropbox at 345 in the Student Center. You can take a picture of it, you can scan it and email it to any of us, or you can go ahead and upload it directly into your profile while you're doing the update. Either way, it's going to get updated. It's going to be uploaded into the update form. Whether you do it or we do it, it's completely acceptable.
And that's, if you forget everything else today, that's what I want you to remember. When any executive board member changes or your advisor, please update with us. Again, I would say that's probably 99% of the time where we see student organizations fizzle in and out. And we see a lot of student organizations fizzle in and out, is that they don't update with us. So we're just emailing the wrong people. Cool. We talked about this a little bit already. Winterfest, that'll be on January 12th. The sign-ups for that will happen like November, December, so do register for that. Again, that's kind of the Fee to Fest quarterly. It is limited seating, of course, because we're inside, so we're not able to make it as big as normal. But please do sign up for that if you would like to recruit for members in January. Solar, we've already talked about that. Connect. You should also have a quarter sheet on that. Did anyone go to Connect last year? Can you talk about your experience? Yeah.
It was a good experience to be able to talk to different organizations that I normally wouldn't see, and then talk about possible collaboration and how we can help them and how they can help us.
Absolutely. So this is October 21st to the 23rd. It's off campus. It's all inclusive, meaning if you sign up and go, it will lodge you, we'll take you over there and we'll feed you. And it's a great way, again, to connect with other student organizations. You all are the experts in what you're doing. So I really would love you all to talk to each other, share best practices, collaborate across difference, all of those things. So really great opportunity there. Alternative weekend, that application is out now. If you want to do a service weekend in Detroit, focused on a particular social justice issue, we do offer that once a semester for student organizations. Do apply for that. It's again, all inclusive. We'll plan it for you. You just have to go and kind of facilitate a lot of the discussions yourself. Really cool opportunity there as well. Yeah. Connect is at Sherman Lake YMCA Center. Yeah. Resource page? Candace? So you should all know this, the resource page, but she's going to kind of go through it a little bit and point out some stuff that to really focus on and know that it's there.
Like I told you guys, I know where to direct you to the resources. If we go to the page itself, it actually shows where you're going to have to sign in later. We'll go through that later. to get credit for being here. But basically it has really cool like how-to guides on kind of how to do that annual form we were just talking about, how to manage your student org. And it has a lot of good resources just on this one simple page. You get to it through the Campus Life Student Orgs webpage. And if you need like the special events form, which we'll go over in a little bit, Kathy will go over it. That's on here. And then we have all of our policies. You don't have to know all of those policies by heart, but it'll be good to...
Say you're chalking, you should know that there's a chalking policy, right? Those kind of things. Or if you think that you are going to go in debt, you better check out the financial debt policy, right?
So it's all here if you need any of them, and if you need help like kind of going through any of them, we're all here to kind of help you break them down. Everything from solar will be on here for the year, so the solar cook-off, this eventually will be posted on here, and then every month we'll post the updates. On here currently it's from last year. And then there's financial resources. All of your treasurers should be coming on here, doing the stuff on here. It explains Bex fund accounts, how to get money from student government, that type of thing, which they'll explain as well. And that's all on here. And then
the conference and scholarship application. So there's two pots of money, right? Student government is going to be your main pot of money. The other pot of money is conference scholarship money, and that's through Campus Life. If that is something, if you want to, every organization gets up to $1,000 per organization per year to spend on a leadership conference related to their mission. That is an application process. As you may imagine, that depletes every single year. Last year I think it depleted around December, so if that's something that you're interested in, it replenishes every July 1st. It is open now. We are accepting applications now. If that's something you're interested in, please do that. It looks like a really long process, 5 steps, but we just like to break it up, so please check that out. If you have any questions, let us know. X-Fund, could you go back to the, X-Fund, we encourage, an X-Fund is the only way that you can receive money from the university. So if you don't have an X-Fund, make sure you apply for an X-Fund. You're going to want that, because that is, again, how you receive money from the university. Every year, too, I think that in transition, please do pass down your X-Fund number from year to year. If you do forget, though, that email right there, take a picture of that. That is the email that you have to email. I do not manage X-Fund accounts. That is the email also that you want to take a picture of hey, how much money do I have? All of those things. BuzzFeed, Business and Finance, it's their nice little _, general accounting at english.edu. That is what you want to use. That's a really good email. Again, student org resource page, if you have questions on money stuff, that finance module, 20 minutes, real quick, it goes over everything you need to know, and it's probably answered in there. So how do you deposit money into your X-Fund account? Yeah, so if you have, if it's like a check, for example, you want to make sure that, and this is really important, that your official name on EagleSync matches whatever is written on that check. And you can actually have a deposit voucher, turn that check in, and it will go into your X-Fund account. As you all know, EagleSync has arrived. We're super excited about it here. What's so exciting about this is it actually can track your involvement. Eventually we want to have a co-curricular record that you can have right alongside of your transcript and say, look at all the cool things I've done while I was at Eastern. So when you're at that job, you can be like, I was the president from here to here, I went to leadership, I did all of these things. And this, you can really talk about all the leadership opportunities you've experienced here at Eastern. It also has some really great ways to create forms. All of you can do that. Some really cool, if you are a Google form connoisseur, this is actually better, because I really like Google Forms. So this is better in terms of conditional formatting, if that means anything to you. You can also update your profile. Again, and this is what every incoming student is getting to join student organizations. So you want to make sure that this looks awesome. Again, every incoming student got this really nice magnet with a link to here. So you want to make sure that however your page look is the way that you want to be represented on campus. Again, that's what our peer engagement coaches too are coaching people. So we're going to be looking on there. So you want to make sure this is up to date because people are coming to us. Hey, I want to join, lacrosse. And we'll look at them and we're like, if it's not updated there, I might be emailing the wrong people. So you want to make sure that's all updated, looks good. So that's something that they can easily join. Send receive messages, as you might have seen, when we send messages here, and when you send messages in there, it actually goes to your email account, which is really nice. All of you in this room, because I assume that a lot of you are upperclassmen, are inputted in the system. There might be some people, if they registered late, we inputted people about like mid-August. If they registered late, all they have to do is sign up for EagleSync. It's the same sign-in as an ID, and they'll be inputted in the system. And that's just good for you to know if you have a first year that's in one of your group positions that you're putting in. You're like, where are they? I can't put them in. That is because we inputted people at mid-August. They weren't registered at that time. They're not going to be in the system, so they'll just have to go in, sign in. The first time they sign in, they'll now be in the system, and you can add them as a president, vice president, secretary, any of those things. Does that make sense? Cool. And again, the second part of this training will be an EagleSync training. It's going to be like 30 minutes really quick, but they'll be able to talk to you about how to make that and really maximize your usage of that space. We are now moving to Conference and Event Services.
Wow, so I'm from Conference and Event Services, formerly Event Planning. If you hear us slip every once in a while, we are not used to our new name yet after a year and a half, so bear with us. Our office manages all of the event space here in the Student Center, McKinney, and inside the Lake House, and I'll get to that in a minute. We also take care of your AV setup, your room setup, and your catering for those 3 locations. With any other campus events where you guys might be, say, at Bowen and you're having some food, we write the contracts for that. So when in doubt and you need catering, come to our office, Suite 312 in this building. That's the easiest way I can describe what our office does, okay? My involvement with you is I'm kind of the venue manager for the Student Center, McKinney, and the Lake House. So when you submit the awesome special event form that Kate worked on this summer for us, making it digital, instead of having you guys fill out all those forms like I have a pile this big in my office, those will come to me as a committee member, final approvals from me and Kate, and then we can proceed with your planning. So I'll get all into that fun stuff in a minute, okay? So phase 1, you're developing. You're developing your events. So this is next to Kate, this is probably like my baby on campus, a special event form. It started probably, I'm here 7 years, probably 8 or 9, where the campus really wanted to have all the key players together talking about events that you guys are all hosting. You guys have the ideas, we are the brains to help you implement them on campus, if that makes sense, okay? So this committee, when you ever hear that I have to take it to the committee, consists of campus life representatives, public safety, myself, the other venue management for those pool parties, the lock-ins, all that fun stuff. We approve it, deny it, I have denied some in my day, or we come back to you and say, hey, this is not quite making sense, can you clarify that? Or hey, this isn't going to work, we need to revamp this event. It has happened a few times. So that's your developing. Starting in October, we're trying to go digital with this entire special event form. So the rooms that you see listed here, and I will preface by saying my card is on the stage. Feel free to email me if you want this presentation. So the Convocation Center, Pease, Rec, including the pool, University Park, Theater, Lake House Student Center, those lovely rooms, 300, will all be covered by the special event form online. Until that time, please continue to use either the form or the online version. If you don't see your room up there, please call our office. That's all we're going to do at this point. If you're hosting a 25-person panel discussion in room 320, don't waste your time with the form. If you don't know what event space you need because you're new, call the office and say, hey, I'm looking at planning an event that might get 75 people. Ding, for our staff, easily you're going to have that form because you're looking at least 310 A and B, maybe 300. Okay, so outgoing presidents, on your way out, please share this info info with the person that is coming in after you. As Kate mentioned, it's important to share X-Fund information. It's important to share this kind of info. Guide your incoming presidents. We've had students in the past, and I've wanted to clone them, where they've made binders. It's a presidential how-to. And it's everything under the sun that your org is going to need to know how to operate when you're not there. So just food for thought. This is important information for them to know for the future. When you look at the event form online, and if you're familiar with our past matrix, the 4-page document you guys signed your life away to me on, there was a point total that I had you total up, correct? I hope somebody is nodding yes, we remember this form. The points are going to be now assigned by us, the venue managers. So the Student Center, Convo, and the Rec IM staffs. So if we come back and say, hey, this is high risk, and we don't see that your advisor, also through EagleSync, love it, has approved this event, we're going to come back and say it's on halt until this is approved. Okay? 90, maybe 75% of all your events are typically low risk. But there are the big ones that will require medium and high risk. There's nothing wrong with being medium and high risk. The only thing to remember about medium and high risk events is that it requires 30 days notice. So if you think you're bordering on a ballroom event, something at Bowen, typically something at Pease, give at least 30 days to get that form into our offices via OrgSync, because it all comes to us electronically. If you are under that 30 days count, when I count up your points, we're going to come back to you and say, you need to pick a new date. You need the 30 days, because when it gets to the medium and high risk events, you're not only just planning for your little group, you're planning then to bring in a DJ possibly. You're planning on bringing in some extra vendors. Maybe you're doing a fashion show and you need to get the hairstylist all lined up. We need time to staff appropriately. If you're bringing 700 people in the ballroom, that's going to be a lot of kids that I need to have either on hand. DPS needs to maybe be there, depending on the event. So that's where the 30 days comes in. It's not we're penalizing you for having a big event. I've heard all of the rhymes and reasons. It's just to give everybody that's helping you be successful enough time to plan. So your status. So we're still trying to figure out with Kate, on my end, if I approve or deny something for you guys, how does that come back to you? I usually follow up with an email just to make sure, because I'm still learning this OrgSync, EagleSync, just like you guys are. So once you get your approval or deny status, contact your venue manager, and I can share those names with you. I'm sorry I did not put those up there tonight. Regarding setting up a meeting to talk about your needs. If you're coming to us and saying, we want to host a etiquette dinner for our chapter, great. Here's where we need to start. That's a planning meeting. If you're coming to our office saying, I just need to know who I contact for marketing. Who can I get some help on for allocation requests? We'll send you down the hallway to Tanasia and her staff. We are kind of like Kate's office, kind of a like, okay, we don't know the answer, we're going to get you to the right resource. Most of the time you need us, most of the time. If you receive a defer or a deny, there's a reason, and communication will follow up on that. We don't have a lot of defers. That's a new form for us as part of the new EagleSync. Kate and I are working on using that maybe for, let's defer it, it's approved, but maybe we need a new date, or we need to tweak something in the event, not an outright deny. I like the next one that I wrote, new system, working out the kinks. So this is where if you submitted something and you haven't gotten a response from a soul in 2 weeks, please reach out to at least our office, and I can help go through the portal and find it. We have 8 new committee members now that are learning EagleSync on the admin side of it. So as you're learning it, we're learning it too. So be persistent but patient. If you're not seeing anything and nothing's popping up in the portal, just reach out to Kate or myself. I'm happy to help kind of direct folks. Once it's approved, be sure to have a vision for your event and a budget, if applicable. We try to work really, really closely with Tanasia and the business and finance crew, who do a great job with all the funds that they give out to you guys, which is an extraordinarily generous thing that they do. But in that becomes a process in and of itself if you're going up for allocations. At all possible, give yourself plenty of time to submit the event, go up in front of business and finance, get their approval or denial, and then come back to us and say, hey, I got the money, we're all set, great. I got my stuff then and processed directly with Tenacia's BNF director. Can you remind me of his name? Justin, thank you. It's like, I know it's Snyder, I don't remember the first name. If you by chance you get denied and you come to us saying, Kath, my group only got $200 out of the $500 we requested, it happens. There's a lot of orgs that are trying to do events. That's where you need to come and communicate with me and say, all right, how can we fix this? We'll figure it out. And we'll cut it, we'll trim it, we'll figure some new ideas out. Once you get all the approval, that's when you can start contacting your DJs, any extra vendors you're getting. Try not to go 7 steps ahead of us when we're doing the approval process. Don't post a flyer with your event space and the date if you haven't gotten our approval. I have had that happen before and had to pull the plug on a flyer. Okay? Stay with us in the planning process. So these are kind of like helpful little hints. So you're going through the process. One step that we need to take is that you want to sell tickets at the door. Awesome. Any ticket sales on campus need to go through the EMU ticket office located on the first floor of the Convocation Center. I have the form in our office. It's in our bookcase if you want to stop by and pick it up. They need a minimum, and I stress minimum, of 2 weeks to put your event in the system, print the tickets, and also staff. The nice thing that they do is if you get a ticketed event, they will help you run the door. They will not be there by themselves. We still ask that the student orgs have volunteers answering questions, helping guide guests. They're there strictly to help check in and kind of help you manage the door overall. But it is possible. Discuss the entire event with your coordinator. So that you guys come to my office, you're doing a big blowout fashion show. I'm going to go from A to Z with you, from start to finish. We're going to go through your volunteer report time. What time are all your people getting here to start setting up? What time are your stylists getting here? That is a meeting that we need to have. We'll provide all the details on final counts, signed contracts, and full payments. And this is something new. Please see the yellow. It's not quite new, but we're trying to be better about it. All details need to be confirmed a minimum of 2 weeks out to allow for staffing and planning. That is really important when it comes to catering. If you come to me and my events in a week, that's going to be, you're kind of limiting us as to what we can get, what we can order, what we can staff. Okay? You don't know how many events we have running at the certain time that you're planning your event. The more notice we have to get your event on the system, even if it's just saying, hey, I think I might have some cookies and lemonade, tell us when you make the reservation, note it in the special event form. It just gets really, really complicated to try and add stuff on last minute. All right, so you're in the final stages. You're in the home stretch. Final signed contract, full payment, and any or all changes are due 3 business days in advance. Absolute final 3 days in advance. The guaranteed count comes into play if you have food. That's the biggest one. You can say, I want to up the crab dip. I want to cut the hummus. I now have 75 people, not 40 coming. What do I do? That's the day that we can still make the changes to get in our ordering system, to get the chefs ready, to possibly get some extra staff to help with the catering function. Final payments, and this is where Tenacia and I are going to work really closely this year. If you are submitting an event and you are going to pay for it by your X fund, please have money in the X fund. You laugh. It's comical to say it, and I had to think about how I was going to bring that up. We have had student orgs in the past because our office asks for you to give an X fund when you make a reservation with us, even if it's your multi-day. Then we inundated the poor business and finance office with a bunch of student orgs that didn't plan on ever using the X fund with kind of pointless X funds because they're never going to deposit. If you use your X fund on a regular basis, feel free to give us that number. We will be checking it that 3 days out, and you will get a call from me and says, hey, Susie Q, got a slight problem. You don't have enough money in your X fund. We can either cut stuff out of the event to get down to what you can afford, or the catering, AV, both will be cut. All payments have to be up front. But just as you expect a lot of follow through from us, that's where my follow through from you guys and your commitment comes into play. Okay? All payments are confirmed prior to the event, it'll be canceled, all that fun good stuff. This goes also for allocations. And I just want to ask for Tenacia's crew, please do not wait till the last minute to go up in front of BNF to get money. We are trying to work out a process with them that kind of checks and balances both of us, both our areas. But at the same time, I'm also trying to help you guys, their process and vice versa. So if you go up to them and your event's on, say, October 31st, and you go to that meeting that Tuesday right before, that's cutting it way too close. So give yourself plenty of time to get through the entire process. Submit your volunteer lists, guest list, and any media to your event if it's applicable, 48 hours in advance. And then if you have a high-risk event, which is, I'm trying to think what our high-risk events in the past have been. The big fashion show in the ballroom, the big stroll-off in the ballroom, those require one more final walkthrough with everybody at the table. So that's you, your advisor, DPS if they're coming, myself, and we go line by line through that whole confirmation, making sure that all of us around the table understand expectations on either end. I know when you guys are going to be sending your volunteers. I know when the artists are going to show up. I know when everybody's going to come to the door. I want the show to start on time. That'd be great. That is that extra meeting. It's not a punishment. It's not a bad thing. The more your core people can be on the same page, the better throughout the planning. Almost done. All right, so here's your feedback. These are my kind of helpful hints for you guys. Contacts with Campus Life and CES, Conference and Event Services, are updated at all times. Kate mentioned that anytime you get an advisor update, a member update, anything changes to the people that are in your system, check in with our office. Now with our office, we only deal really with student orgs that do multi-dates and special events, which I think would be pretty much a good chunk of you guys. If you have an officer change, if you have an advisor change, if you have a presidential change mid-year, shoot us an email. You can do it CL_event planning. You can stop by the office and pick up an update form. I am trying to work with Kate's system to figure out how our office can pull your updates right from the Eagle Sync, so we don't have to bug you for 2 forms. But until that is fixed and you get a big email from me saying, we did it, just continue to always say, did I update with Campus Live? Cool, I need to update with Conference and Events. When in doubt, always ask your questions. There are no stupid questions. I do this for a living. You guys are new and you have amazing ideas. Ask your questions. You would be surprised at questions that I've gotten over the years, and I love them. You guys keep me on my toes, but please ask your questions. Multi-date reservations. How many of you meet weekly, bi-weekly, monthly? I like how everyone's like, does my group meet? I don't So our office takes care of that reservation, and that really only applies to the student center. If you're here on a Sunday and you see student orgs everywhere, that's a multi-date. Those are, in our office, they come out every March. So the longer you wait into the fall semester, i.e. right now, the harder it is for us to get you into the spots and the times that you guys want. So when you see a message from me and Eagle Sync come out in March saying, hey, student orgs, it's time for multi-dates, come into the office, pick it up, fill it out before you leave for spring and summer. Because now we're having a hard time finding some spaces for student orgs that are still trying to find their spaces. That is also our time that we update our system, is in March going into spring. So if you submit a special event, or multi-date form, You give us your updated contacts, including your new incoming president and your new advisor, if that changes, anything like that. So multi-dates are a good thing. So, not quite new this year, but DPS charges will be covered again by student government. Another very awesome, gracious thing that they do for you guys, and believe me, it's saved a lot of student orgs on their events this last year. If your event requires DPS, your venue manager will contact either myself directly, and I will work with Tanasia, or I will be the one emailing Tanasia and Josh directly saying, hey, I got this event coming up, we're looking at this many officers, this date, this time, are you still good to fund it? It is a limited budget. Please, if you think your event's going to warrant DPS, get that to me, get your form in ASAP, because once that money is gone, it comes back onto you guys. So the more planning you can do up front, the better. Typically, DPS will only be on site if you have 700 people, and there's a lot of people coming from outside the campus that we, staff, DPS, university staff, can't account for. Most of the fights that I've seen happen after events have been between non-ENU students. And once they're on our campus, we are responsible for them. So please just take that in consideration. They are not here just to see what you guys are doing. DPS and Lieutenant Good are excited when they get to come to your events, but it's more of a protection for you guys because they are here to make sure that you have a successful event and not who's all gonna cause a ruckus because we don't know who's coming. Okay? All right, last one. Release day. Your event's here. Be on site at the designated time. If I could take a photo, that would be the first one I would do. Be on site. If you tell me you're going to be here at 4, I'm waiting for you in the ballroom at 4 o'clock, you don't show up, I do not get happy. Or I get unhappy, whatever the phrase is. This is your event to manage. This is your event to run. Our staff, our building staff, myself, depending on the event, will stick around and make sure it's going okay with you. You guys are managing the door. You're managing the volunteers. This is your baby to get off the ground. We are here to support you. If you don't show up because you're in hair and makeup and you didn't bother to tell anybody to tell me, and you show up at 5:30, whew, I'm not happy. Because then I'm the one now telling your volunteers what you should be doing, where that's your job. Does that make sense? Okay? Just communicate. I understand car troubles. I understand work ran over. I get it. But just get me the message. If our staff is waiting for someone, they're like, Kathy, nobody's here, and at 6 o'clock, the door's open in an hour. It's like, I'll call them. No problem. I will gladly walk through the expectations of the volunteers with you going into your event. Manage the doors, manage the guests. Typically for a ballroom or auditorium event, plan on 6 to 8 people for volunteers to help manage the doors and everything. Especially if you guys start having someone that's kind of heckling. We've had that at some of our performance-based stuff. Brave Soul gets on stage to sing, and all of a sudden they're getting heckled, and that just doesn't handle very well. Feel bad for the performer. So it works really well when your volunteers can go up and be like, dude, what the hell are you doing? Chill out. They listen better to you than me coming and be like, yeah, I need you to leave. So it works better for you guys. Have fun, have a great event. Clean up if you can. Tidy up after yourselves would be wonderful. So I do want to preface by saying, we will never have an event that has people sitting on the stairs because this is fire code. I'm breaking fire code because I was not going to turn anybody away from solar today. So this won't happen at your event. Thanks.
Okay. Hi, everyone. If you don't know me, I'm Tanasia Morton. I'm your student body president. My vice president name is Joshua Starr. He's unable to make it. I'm going to talk to you all a little bit about what student government has to offer, and then also how you allocate funds properly, the right way to get approved. Okay, so this first slide is my executive board. These are my staff. These are the people that you would go to for specific things. If you come to me with a question and I refer you to them, it's because it falls under their committee. So our business and finance director, who is Justin Snyder, he would do everything with money that has to do with money, so you would contact him. Our director of communications will help you promote your event. Our Director of Political Action will do anything around social justice. Our Director of Governmental Affairs will do anything around the government or voter registration. Our Director of Student Services will do anything that's fun. Our Director of Sustainability does anything that's sustainable. Our Director of Philanthropy does volunteer and fundraising. Our Speaker of the Senate will be if you need senators to volunteer at your events. And then our Judicial Sergeant doesn't really do anything outside the organization, but if you need any questions with our bylaws or about allocation process, he can help you out. Okay, so this is what student government has to offer besides money. So we do offer free green books. So if you ever know a student who is in need of a green book, they can just come up to our office, which is in the Student Center on the 3rd floor of 342, just 342. We have delegate seats this year. We have 7. So what a delegate seat is, you would kind of serve as a senator, except for you wouldn't have the requirement. So they're for specific constituencies. So for example, athletes, students of color, just anything around there. They would have voting rights and speaking rights at meetings. However, they don't have to fulfill the requirements that senators have to fulfill. Promotion, we do promotion through our social media sites, and then we're also working on other ways to promote within the Student Center, and then you can also book the kiosks through us, which are those 2 rocks between the Rec, Prairie Herald, and Porter. We offer free legal services, so if you ever find yourself in trouble and then you need to talk to a lawyer, they can give you advising. The kiosk. We also have giveaways, so if you are having an event and you want to do giveaways, a raffle, or some form of a trivia, we have student government swag that we can give to you to give out at your event. And then also this year, student government will be doing turbo vote. So if you will be registering students to vote, we have the system of turbo vote to where you can give us the papers and they would mail them. So for like out-of-state students, they would mail the papers for you. If they're not in the Washtenaw County, they will also mail those as well. And then also we'll be keeping track of who is registered to vote on that turbo vote. So if you have any questions about turbo vote, you can contact myself and I will forward you to our Director of Governmental Affairs. Collaboration. So this year, student government wants to do a lot of collaboration. When you all do your events, it comes from our student organizations line. But when we do the events, or if it's in collaboration with student government, it comes from a different line budget. So if you have any event that student government may have done in the past, or that you may have done to where you would need more volunteers, more funds, and different things, I suggest that you all contact us in collaboration because we really want to work with you all more this year. More than just give you the money and send you on your way, we really want to help you all in whatever way that we can. So we have a new website this year. This is our website. If you go to www.emish.edu/student.gov, it will take you here, but this is just a quicker way to get to our website. So once you get to that website, this is the allocation process. So you would go, either one of those links will take you there, but if you do emusg.com and you click a tab that says Get Funding, it'll be right on the front cover next to the picture slide. You would go to the page, it will take you to the page that says Services. Once you get to the Services page, you would, you would click that button right there that says Form. Once you click that form button, it will take you to the training module, which you can also find on the Campus Life resource page. Once you get to that training module, I suggest you go through every single one of those trainings. I say that because the quickest way to get denied is not to go through those trainings. If you don't go through those trainings and you come to us and we ask you if you fundraise and you tell us no, you're more likely to get denied. So please take your time. It's a little time consuming, but it's the easiest way to get approved. And then the application will be located at the end of all of those trainings. So step 2, after you've turned in your application, our Director of Business and Finance this year is Justin Snyder. That's a picture of him. So he will contact you if he is in need of more forms. So we will need your invoice from event planning. We will need any kind of invoice, a DJ invoice, a marketing invoice, any invoice of what you're asking for money for. We need that, so you would email that to him. Once he emails you saying that he's received everything necessary for you to be able to move forward and come to the meeting, you would come to our business and finance meeting. Our first business and finance meeting is tomorrow at 6:30. Outside of our student government office, there's a list and a schedule of our a list and a schedule of when our meetings are. So from this week, bi-weekly will be business and finance meeting. You would come to the business and finance meeting, you would present, just kind of tell the committee what your event is, what you plan to do. I say submit every single form of documentation you have. So if you have the full layout of the event, that it shows your commitment to the event and that you really want to put this event on and that it's well planned. So it kind of, I know when I served on the committee, it made me a little bit happy to see that you actually committed that time already. So you would present and you either be denied or approved. If you are denied, there is another step, which is an appeal where you would present to the entire Senate. So if you are denied. Step 4, once you are processed and you are granted funding, and this is you being approved by the board and they tell you that yes, you are approved, the business and finance will email you a confirmation. After that, he will transfer the money to wherever it needs to be transferred to. So if it's catering or it's anything that has to do with EPO, he would transfer it straight to the EPO office. If it's a DJ or if it's marketing or anything that's not EPO, it would be transferred to your X Fund account in approximately 2 to 3 weeks. So what that means is, like Kathy said, don't come to us a week before your event, and when the event comes up, ask us where the money is, because there is a processing time. Okay. So this side is our contact info, and then I also have my business cards over here on the corner of the stage. That's my email, my vice president's email, and then our director of business and finance email. Like I said, if you contact myself or Joshua, we can forward you to wherever you need to be forwarded to. So whether it's our director of communications, director of governmental affairs, or speaker of the Senate. And then that is our office number, and then I have a separate number, so that is my direct office number. My office is 342A. I also have my office hours posted on the outside of the board. And then we also have our student government office hours, which will be posted outside. So if you ever have any questions, just stop by when that specific director is in the office.